the Retirement Readiness Podcast with Tim Regan and Kaitlyn Hedger, presented by Prairie View Wealth and Tax Advisors. Live your 2-comma life.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Kickstart program. Today, joining me is Kaitlyn Hedger, our leader of Kickstart, as well as a financial advisor at Prairie View Wealth. So, Kaitlyn, Kickstart, it's all about that decade from like 25 to 35, maybe a little bit on either side of it, but it's all about how do we get you to the point where you're ready to start living your 2-comma life and get you on that path, right?
Spot on. Think you're early in your career and there's a lot of questions you might have about all things finances. You're getting advice from probably your parents, from TikTok if you're a TikToker, and how do you make that all make sense, right?
Yeah. And who isn't a TikToker, right? Like, now I say that I'm not. The only time I ever see TikTok is like when somebody sends it to me. But I talk to like Lily and Maddie and stuff, my daughters, and they're like constantly, if they're not doing something and they're looking to just kill time, they're like, let me TikTok it.
It's a hard habit to break.
Yeah.
I subscribe. So
yeah, for sure. So today we're going to talk a little bit about one of the kind of the next steps. So if listeners and viewers have not seen our previous episodes, we've got an episode that kind of explains what the overall program is. And now we're going through some of the steps to the program individually and kind of working through those. And so the next step that we're going to talk about today is really having to do with like work benefits and that kind of stuff. So like, help me to understand that. What does that mean? What are you doing? Like, why do I care? All that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So again, when you're early in your career, you've probably through your employer been enrolled in some form of benefits, right? It could look like a lot of different things, but typically we're talking your 401k, just to throw a couple buzzwords out there, your 401k, we're talking HSA health savings plan. You're talking about company sponsored life insurance, long-term disability. Am I losing you yet?
Oh yeah. How about it? Right. It's a lot. Yeah.
And a lot of times you might be enrolled and you don't really understand what they mean. And kind of most importantly, how do they apply to myself, my goals, my plan?
Well, I know even here at Prairie View, like we even have on there, people could subscribe for pet insurance. And so the list is long. There's a lot of those things that are out there.
Yeah. A lot of benefits that might get overlooked, but that could really help you long-term. And it's health benefits too. How do you pick the right health insurance plan that fits for you and some of your medical and health needs, but while still allows you to take part in some financial needs? It's a lot to understand. And a lot of times because of that, people just don't want to talk about it. And that's where I come in.
Yeah. And so you're saying like you can help somebody kind of break those down and see what's right for them?
Yeah. So typically what we're going to do in this meeting is we're going to take a look at everything that your employer benefits encompasses, whether that's the health insurance side, whether it's finances, it's whatever benefits your employer offers. And part of that is understanding that's part of your compensation too. So it's taking a look at what do you have now? And then because you and I are going to work so closely on your goals, on your cash flow, on if you have any debt, we're going to sit and apply and say, is there anything else I should be doing outside of work? So where might there be some gaps? And to kind of take you through an example, if you might have a couple of really young kiddos, but you're only enrolled in your company sponsored life insurance, it might not be enough.
Sure.
And so taking a look at what's really important to you and where do we see a gap there? Because your employer cares about you, but they might not know the things that I'm going to know.
They're not in the financial services or financial planning.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so help me to understand then too, like I hear a lot of young people sometimes talk about, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be at this employer very long, so I'm not going to do the 401k. Like I hear that kind of a lot. Like, how does that even work? Like, should people still do a 401k if they're there? Not, let's walk through that maybe, because if I'm sitting here listening to this, I'm like, well, how does that really affect me? Because I'm not going to do the 401k. I'm still on my parents' health insurance till I'm 26 or whatever, or I'm on my spouse's health insurance. I don't even care about it. Like, help me to understand, that part of it.
Yeah. Well, and with your employer benefits kind of being a part of your overall compensation as an employer there, you might be leaving money on the table if you're not taking part in some of these benefits. And so point blank, first step, let's get you enrolled in the 401k. And second step.
And even if I'm not going to stay there?
100%. 100%. Because we want to start saving now. And then that plan will decide what we should be doing with it. But you can take your 401k with you.
So even if I leave in a couple of years, then that's just something it's not like I lose that money.
Exactly. Okay. And the other biggest piece about the 401k, you have to invest it. And no one tells you this. It's insane.
Yeah.
The amount of people that I've talked to that they know they're contributing, they don't really know how much they're contributing. They just know that a certain amount gets taken out of their paycheck, gets put in some sort of an account. And you might not realize a couple years down the road, it's not growing because it's not invested. Exactly.
Account or something that's not even invested. I got you. And so is that part of then coming up with the game plan for here's how much you need for retirement, and are you undersaving or oversaving? Is that all part of the conversation too?
Exactly. It's setting up where are we now? How much can we contribute now? Because we've taken a look at cash flow already, and where are we trying to go? So when we sit down and go through goals and cash flow and all those kind of things, we're going to sit and say, okay, here's what we can do now. If that next raise comes up in a year, or you get a bonus towards the end of the year, where should those dollars go? Potentially, it could be with your 401k. It could be other goals, but we're going to constantly be referring back to that plan in your savings strategy.
Yep. Okay. And so then help me to understand, how do you know this stuff? What do you need from me to do this work? Is it a lot of heavy lifting on my part? Is it not too much? How do you even go about that?
The toughest part is going back and trying to find that email where they sent you your benefits. Yep. And if that takes me sitting on the phone with you while you do that, fine by me. But normally it's kept in some sort of package that your employer would have sent to you. They might even send you an update year by year with what's changed, but we're pulling that up and then we'll go through it together.
And so is it in preparation for that meeting? Does it just make sense if I don't have it? Is it easier just to reach out to HR and ask them to just resend it?
Yes, exactly. And it's good now to kind of establish that relationship with your HR person so that if you have any questions or need them down the road, you should know who to go to.
Sure. And you said my 401k is that goes with me. What if I have a 401k at another place, another previous employer? Should I put that in my current 401k? What are my options there? Do you help me work through that as well?
It depends. And that's what we're going to have a conversation about. Sometimes you can move that old plan into your new current employer. Other times it might make sense to just put it in a traditional IRA in your name. But we can help kind of walk through what makes the most sense for you.
So I do have some options and it's not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other thing that this kind of helps too is taking a look at, you might have, especially I have a lot of nurses who are my friend, a lot of travel nurses who they do different contracts. They might work somewhere for 6 to 8 months and then move on to the next job, but they've been contributing for those 6 to 8 months. Yep. So what do you do with those? And how do we make sure that we're not losing sight of them once we've left the job?
Yep.
You don't want to end up 10 years down the road and you've got 6 401ks sitting out there.
Sure.
That's difficult to manage.
For sure. Okay, so step one is, I guess, is what, step 3 in the process.
Yeah.
And so as you come up to this, I'm assuming then you'll give us a checklist, tell us what we need to do to.
And I'm glad you brought that up too, because one of the things that we haven't talked about yet is that we're going to kind of give you an easy way to follow up on your quote unquote homework. Yep. So in our Black Diamond portal, you'll have a whole to-do list. And I say whole to-do list, it's not 20 items, but you'll have a checklist where you can remember, okay, Kaitlyn asked for my employer benefits. Kaitlyn asked for this statement, and we'll walk alongside of it. And if you're not getting it done, I know where to find you.
Yeah.
But I try and make it easy for you so that it's not a huge daunting thing to go find.
Awesome. All right. So get your employer's stuff out, sit down and talk to Kaitlyn, get it all explained, and make sure that all of your things are kind of heading in the same direction. You're rowing the same direction.
So this is an important conversation that we're going to have. I think, all of these topics that we're going to talk about in this program are super important. I feel like this one is the one that you're going to walk away feeling way more educated on what you currently have, and B, understand how it relates to you, your family, your plan. This is the confidence booster one.
And it probably also, your point previously, I might be thinking I got a box checked, but it's not really checked because my employer plan isn't doing what I thought it did. And so there could be a gap. And so rather than leave a gap, you could close those gaps.
Well, and it's a confidence booster too, because, a lot of times we might talk to people who think they're doing nothing and it turns out you have started, it's not, I'm here to be your cheerleader. Let's, celebrate.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode. For more resources, go to pv-wp.com. Be well.
The Retirement Readiness Podcast with Tim Regan and Kaitlyn Hedger. Presented by Prairie View Wealth and Tax Advisors. Live your 2 life. Learn more at pv-wp.com. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Retirement Readiness Podcast on your preferred podcast platform.